Morning, guys, and welcome to the podcast. Happy holidays. Hope you guys had a restful Thanksgiving week. And today I'm really excited to introduce Mark Stern out of Austin, Texas. And he has founded in 2019 Custom Box Agency, which has launched 100 plus campaigns, helping clients increase conversion and help them grow their business. I'm really happy to have him on the show to share his insights and add value to the audience. So, Mark, welcome.
Chris, happy holidays. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really happy to have you on, and the audience is really interested in hearing what you are doing. Introduce yourself and talk about what you do and how you got there, and we'll dive into the questions.
Sure. My name is Mark Stern. My business is, as Christopher said, Custom Box Agency. We're really in the business of optimizing the customer journey. And when we say customer journey, it could be an acquisition journey, how people find you to buying your products and services. It could be a delivery journey, now from onboarding to outcome, or it could be retention. How do we increase customer lifetime value? And what we do with our clients is we will not only get into your business, but we love physical. Experience is really seen through the senses. When you have a digital only product, you're only tapping into what you hear. But when I can optimize what you're doing and I can tie it with a physical box experience that complements what it is that you're trying to achieve, what we see is people can get results faster. We can gamify and incentivize behavior and celebrate people when they get to certain results. We can introduce another box of the series to say that this is box 1 of 4. So if you keep on progressing through our products and services, you can collect the other pieces. So there's so many different ways to leverage physical, but we show clients that, especially in this age of AI, where pre-age of AI, when it was just the age of digital, we were pumping in billions of pieces of content. Now we're on such an exponential, introducing more and more content, and you're seeing this rise of distrust. A lot of what we show clients is what was once old is new again, and how to leverage and really stand out in an oversaturated digital market. How are you thinking about complementing your products with the things that are physical and truly giving your customers the tools and resources that they need?
Yeah, I had a guest on several months ago who was also in this experience business and sending customers boxes and things. What is it about this experience that keeps clients, that enhances the experience and overall grows sales?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think when people hear boxes and sending things, they instantly think swag. And we always joke and say, stop sending people swag. Swag means stuff without a goal. If you just send people stuff that has your branding on it for just buying your products and services, it's just stuff. There's no connection to the product. People have to go through some degree of a transformation. And so what we try to do with products is sometimes if it's an acquisition play, and that's what we're doing, we have this product 57 hats as an example. The goal of this product is similar to the goal of a book. From an acquisition standpoint, a book is just trying to convey one big concept. This box is helping people identify one simple outcome. How many hats are you wearing in your business? Because if I can get you thinking about how many hats you're wearing and you can have a quick breakthrough, then to ascend you to my other products and services, it becomes this great front end, low product, low ticket acquisition play to then introduce you to our higher ticket products and services. But if I can get you to have that outcome or that breakthrough, then the question becomes, who can help me take this to the next level? If we have the back end to support it, then we just built an engine that showed a low ticket to a higher ticket opportunity by positioning ourselves as not only the person that helps you identify the problem, but recognizing that we're the solution to addressing the problem. So there's all different ways that we can leverage that from an acquisition standpoint. But when we think about these experiences, I truly want you to think about how are we taking our people step by step from the beginning interaction to that outcome of what you're selling. And we can create that as a visual, as a one-page journey map that people can know what they're about to experience as they start working with you.
I know you were a mentor at South by Southwest, and so for clients in the audience listening to this and they're thinking about integrating physical and then this experiential ways of connecting with their customer, what sort of strategies or what sort of things can they do to create the memorable customer journey that fosters loyalty and increases lifetime value?
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, what a lot of businesses don't do well is they don't define what success looks like. And what I mean by that is I like to use the analogy of running a race. If you're running a marathon, when you cross the starting line of a marathon, I know you're not training for the marathon anymore. You've begun the race. And when you cross the finish line, without a shadow of a doubt, I know you've completed the race. One of my clients that we had, Adrienne Dorson, she runs a business called Run Like Clockwork, where they teach you how to operationalize your business. And their metric for success is, can you take a 4-week vacation? Meaning, can you leave your business for 4 weeks and it's still operation? It works without you. If you have done that, then you've successfully clockworked your business. And this was conveyed off of one of Mike Michalowicz's books, which is Clockwork. So they define success in such a beautiful way that a lot of times when I work with businesses, have you successfully defined success? Why is that important? There's a lot of things in life that I want to do, but I don't want to try and figure it out. I want you to show me the pathway. So it's like Facebook ads. If you ever ask me how to do Facebook ads, I would probably look at you and just say, just take my money. I'll do whatever you want me to do, because I know nothing about Facebook ads. But when it comes to experience, I can guide you through that process and define success of what success is. If we don't have a box experience at the end of the journey of working with me, then we didn't do something right. Businesses don't do a good job really showing their customers success. They throw them in and overwhelm them. So onboarding becomes really important. They don't really define the pathway to success. And oftentimes what happens is the customer starts to blame themselves as to why. Maybe I'm not getting it. Maybe this wasn't meant for me. Maybe I'm the problem. When the reality is, did you create an overwhelming experience that is hard to navigate and people are blaming themselves and then disappearing from it? That's the power of having a really well-defined journey, is that if I know what all the phases are, when I say journey, we work with clients to say, here's onboarding, here's outcome, and here are the core phases or stages to get people from the beginning to the end. The reality is, if it's a 5-part process to get the outcome, if you get stuck at part 2 or part 3, that is valuable intel as a business owner to say, where do I need to optimize certain parts of how we deliver? By doing that, the theory is we can get people results faster. And when we get people at the end of the finish line faster, then the question becomes, how else can you serve me? What's the next thing you have? So now we're talking about lifetime value.
Hmm. And because you talked about the next thing, how does gamification and customer retention, how can they be effectively used to improve the customer experience and engagement?
Yeah, it's so funny. So I'm a kid of the 80s, and I have a lot of inspiration from the original Nintendo. I don't know, sometimes I feel like this dates me a little bit. And my favorite game as a kid was Mario Brothers 3. And anytime you play Mario Brothers 3, it was a series of levels until you got to, if you're in land 1, you start to go through the levels, and at the end of the level, you have the castle where you beat the boss. And so what I loved about that, and where I've gotten so much inspiration about it, is they may have level 1, level 2, level 3, and then there's a prize. And if you just kept on playing and got one step closer, something's going to unlock that you don't know what that thing is. I can take that same exact concept and transform it into a business experience. It doesn't matter what line of business you're in. We work with from info product creators to SaaS companies to professional service providers. But I can say, if you get to the 3rd stop, there's something that unlocks, and I may send you something in the mail. I may incentivize and celebrate you in a way. One of the quotes that I heard that really stuck with me is, there's a life coach named Brooke Castillo, and she had this quote that was, the last time that most people were recognized in their life was their high school graduation. And I would take it a step further to say, for most people, recognition may be their high school graduation or maybe their wedding day. But beyond that, I don't think we do a good job recognizing and seeing people. And I think people want to be seen. I think they want to be celebrated. And so it's a powerful means to recognize and reinforce behavior, which is all things that I can do in terms of defining and gamifying the process to incentivize and celebrate the behavior in a really powerful way. So that's just one of many different tactics. One of my other favorite things that I love to do is collection. And one of the things that I've gotten a lot of inspiration from is, are you familiar with Spartan races? Have you ever heard of the Spartan race?
Yeah.
Mud runs. This is something that I did. This is actually the medal I received in 2015 when I did my first Spartan race. I did the Spartan race because I set a goal to do a 5K a month. And by the time I got to month 5, I wanted to do something different. Never thought I'd do an obstacle course mud run race ever in my life, because I wasn't a runner. I didn't consider myself a runner or an athlete at the time. But what they did so brilliantly is, not only did they give me the medal for completing, but hanging on the medal was a third of a medal. And they said, congratulations on getting your Spartan Sprint medal. It's time for you to go for your trifecta. And this is just a powerful means of how they are gamifying the process. The rule is you have to get the other 2 wedges in the same calendar year, which means you have to do an 8 to 10 miler and then a half marathon. And I have never done anything like that. But after I got the first wedge, then I got the second wedge. And then all of a sudden, at the beginning of 2015, had you said I was going to do a half marathon mud run, I would have said, you lost your mind. But when I had 2 to 3 wedges, if I had to drag my body across the finish line, I was going to complete the trifecta in the year. And you can see I still have it. This is, I guess this is the one from 2019, but you can see all the wedges coming together to reinforce a new metal. For me, it was a massive transformation that I went through to realize this and realize I am an athlete. I am capable of things that I didn't realize I was capable of. For Spartan, it's brilliant because it's lifetime value. They gamified it. They incentivized the behavior in the right way, which caused me to give them more money. And so that model we've engineered, and there's so many different ways to think about that in your own business. But had they not given me something to strive for and define, this is what success looks like for this game, I never would have continued going on. And I never would have thought I would be capable of doing a half marathon mud run.
Yeah. And it's very similar what you're talking, like Spartan race or like games, or also like CrossFit, like this community experience. Looking at, a lot of people are not, this may be the first time that they're hearing about experiential marketing, and it may be further in the public stream of consciousness in the future. How is experiential marketing evolving or changing, and what things are people thinking about or creatively exploring?
Yeah, it's so funny because I realized that my entire career, since like before business school, I went and graduated college and then worked for an experiential marketing firm and focused on the beverage realm. So how do we build an experience around a bottle? Think Jameson, Malibu, Chivas, Glenlivet, Stoli, Beefeater. And then post business school, I got my MBA at Duke and worked for Deloitte Consulting for many years. And it still was like, what's the member experience? What's the hotel experience? So we're still talking about this concept of experience. And now with Custom Box Agency, one, experience is seen through the senses. So when we say senses, we're saying sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. Don't underestimate the power of kinesthetic, because it's the one thing that a digital experience cannot do. So when we're talking about digital, we're only tapping into what you hear. Just the element of activating another sense is an instant differentiator in your business. And I think right now, I mentioned this at the beginning of this, but with AI, I feel like what you're going to start seeing is this rise of digital distrust, because people are guessing, like second guessing, is this original? Is this something that AI generated? And one of the most powerful things you can do to differentiate, whereas I think, again, what's old is becoming new again, is people think that introducing something physical is complex and hard. Yeah, back in the 1990s, it was a different game in order to do it. You had to commit to much higher quantities. Now, it's something that we have experiences that cost under $5. We have experiences that a lot of them average $15 to $30. When you look at ad spend cost and you are in the cost to acquire customers, people are spending tens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to acquire. The simple element of just tying a box experience is such a powerful differentiator. That physical element is something that I don't want people to undersell. You talk about email open rates, they're fractions of percent. I don't even touch my email because I have an executive assistant. But if you send me a package in the mail, I'm going to open it. And so you see these package open rates of 90+% because people love that excitement of getting something in the mail, and to be able to go through it, it's just a different experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Next question I have for you is, we're transitioning towards the end, and a lot of inspiration, because you mentioned the Duke MBA, and you've gone from corporate to entrepreneurship. So anybody listening to this and they're interested in transitioning, what lessons would you offer to navigate the challenges of taking the leap, starting and scaling your own business?
I say reach out to me on LinkedIn, because we could have such a long conversation about this. This is honestly, it was such a hard transition because it's so mental. It's a couple of things that I'd highlight. One of the biggest breakthroughs I had earlier on was I was a high performer in corporate, and I was like, oh, I'll transition to entrepreneurship and I'll crush it. Wrong. I fell flat on my face and was like getting really frustrated. I'm like, why can't I get this to work? And it was the realization that corporate versus entrepreneurship is like checkers versus chess. The game board may look the same. The game board's the exact same. The rules are completely different. So if you approach checkers with chess rules, you will fail. If you approach chess with checkers rules, you will fail. So you have to give yourself permission to learn how to play the new game. And so I had to learn how to become an entrepreneur. Your competitive edge is the experiences that you had before. Like corporate taught me so much discipline and structure and gave me frameworks and a lens on business that just those who have jumped into the entrepreneurial game just don't have. And so that's where I look at that. The other thing that was a big lesson that I learned is at Deloitte, I was a consultant at Deloitte, a strategy consultant. Deloitte celebrates you being good at everything. They want you to be the world's best generalist because you got to be good at everything and learn how to do everything. In entrepreneurship, they do not celebrate you being good at everything. They don't want you to be a generalist. They want you to be known for one thing. It's okay to do multiple things, but lead with one thing. And the way I tell people this is law of reciprocity. If I truly want other people to win, then other people must want me to win. So how do I make it easy for other people to help me win? Make it easy for them to communicate what it is that I do. And that's the power of niching down. Zoning in on boxes and these physical experiences. When someone says, who does custom boxes? There's a flood of people that will say Mark Stern, because I've niched down and owned that space and wanted to be known for that space. We help people with a lot of business strategy. That's true. Like we're really in the business of retention, but leading with that box and what we're doing with boxes is so original that it makes it easier for other people to help me win. So that's what I would tell people is don't try and be the world's greatest generalist. Be known for something and really one thing. And the cool thing about it is I get to put all my mental capacity in thinking about these box experiences in a way that sets me apart, that if someone wanted to compete and do something else plus box experiences, they're not nearly going to be able to put the mental capacity that I have, because I get to put 100% of my brain towards what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. Which brings me to our next question is, because from a corporate setting, you've got teams and you've got hierarchy and there's people that it's not like a one-man show. So when you go into entrepreneurship and you're talking about scaling your business and growing your team, initially, it's probably just one or two people or a couple of people. And then eventually you're going to have to delegate or empower people. How do you maintain alignment between your team and your company's values, trying to scale operations so that it frees up you to do the more of the visionary type work?
What a great question. My team right now, we're about 25 to 30 people in that range. So the team has grown quite a bit. We've grown this business via word of mouth. We've not put any paid ads in it. And so we went from 0 to 7 figures in the first year via word of mouth. So it's doable. In terms of the team and culture, my team is my everything. I came from a world that was client first and then team. And for me now as a business owner, I flip it. It's team first. If I can empower the team and set them up for success and make sure they feel supported, by default, they always over deliver for the clients and provide a better experience for the clients. So my team knows that I'm very protective of them. They are very protective of me. They have and I never asked for this. They have a, how do we protect Mark mentality? I've never asked for it. But your team, hardest thing for me had to be the mindset of letting go. If you hold a belief that only you can do this thing in your business, then you are literally limiting your business. So you have to flip the belief to say, other people can learn how to do what I do. Like one of my special, I'd say the most difficult thing that I do really well is getting into our client's business and optimizing the journey, just because it's pulling together my history of what I've done when I was in corporate America with the entrepreneurial space. But if I only held a belief that only I could do it, then I'm literally stifling the growth of my business. Therefore, the belief has to be other people can learn what I'm doing and can be able to produce a similar result as me. And holding that belief is just a mindset rewiring and shifting in a way that allows me to think differently. So how could I coach someone to do what it is that I do? Because as much as I'd love to say I'm a special snowflake, none of us are, and everything can be taught. And we have to hold that belief in the spirit of growing our business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And then there comes a point when, especially in entrepreneurship, you have like your core and then you maybe have different things. Talk about how you decide when to cut the cord, cut your losses and pivot, or because I know typically it's hammer it down and then you don't want to stop too early, but then you don't want to stop too late. So talk about when you decide to time to pivot.
Oh, out of corporate America?
Or just in terms of projects or yeah.
It's so funny. Like I feel like the world, like I have this belief that the world is my oyster and I love a blank canvas because I can create and I love to create. One of the things, so I'll tell you two different things. Leaving corporate America was the hardest thing for me because that's all I knew. And it literally got to the point that this is back at the end of 2017, going into 2018, December. So we're talking about like this month, a couple of years ago. When you work in corporate consulting, you don't slow down. I was a road warrior. I traveled. I had a cab pick me up at 4:45 a.m. to go to the airport, fly to the client every single week for 6 years straight. I lived in airplanes and hotels. And it wasn't until I had this like dream and this weird premonition, which I'd never experienced. It was, if you stay in this job, it will kill you. And when I had that, it was December 27th of 2017. It spooked me in a way that I came back and said, I had no idea what it was that I was going to do. But what I had held was a belief around, if I could free up the mental capacity of Deloitte. I loved Deloitte, but if I could let go, because they were occupying 98% of my headspace, I knew that I could get in a creative space. So I didn't have a backup plan. I was not able to start a business on the side to prepare for the transition. I literally had to burn the ships. I had to burn the boats down to make that pivot, which was incredibly hard. Landing on Custom Box Agency, because it was other businesses that I explored, the reality was I introduced something physical to a product I had launched because I did it because I was my first client. I wish people just sent me the tools and resources I need to be set up for success. So when I launched a product, I sent people the tools and resources they need to be set up for success. What I didn't expect was that they would do these unboxing videos and they take pictures with the products that I sent them and they'd post them online. And I ignored the signs forever until finally I was like, wait a second, everyone is asking me, how are you doing these box experiences? And that pivot, especially at the beginning of COVID, made me kill the business that I'd been building for 2 to 3 years and go all in on this custom box business. And it was absolutely the right decision. But it was the market telling me, look, we like this. We want to know more about this. Not me saying, oh, look, this other business I have, look, isn't it great? No. And so listening to the market was a huge pivot for us, and knowing, because the writing was on the wall. I just wasn't paying attention.
Finally, what is your vision for the future, and what do you see for CBA for 2025? And share some words of inspiration and how people can find you and work with you and check out your work.
Yeah, thank you. For me, how I look at what we do is I want these box experiences to be as synonymous as, I'm looking for my iPhone. Yeah, an iPhone case to an iPhone. There's my dog. I have a little corgi. Your iPhone can function just fine without an iPhone case, but when you add the iPhone case, it's something that's going to protect it. It's going to extend the life longer. You can personalize it to you. And the iPhone accessory business became this multi-billion-dollar business that no one saw coming originally. I want boxes to be that for businesses, that you can have a business and you can have a digital product, but I want it to be so synonymous to the point that you just don't think twice. If you're going to have a digital product, you have to have something physical because it's going to make that experience so much better. And so that's where the big business vision is. How do I start to really showcase to people how that this is an essential part of how you should be thinking about delivering, especially in this age of AI? And for us, we finally are launching our own products in addition to helping our clients produce some of these own experiences. There's so many things that we're rolling out, which are like almost gamifying certain business functions and just giving people the tools and resources. But one of the visions that I've been telling a lot of people about is I don't want people to think about creating a product that is utilized by 100, 500, 1,000, 5,000 people. How do we start to think about products and selling to 100,000 buyers? Because if you were able to sell to 100,000 buyers, you'd have 100,000 leads. If you had 100,000 leads, how would that change your business? How would that change the impact that you're able to have? And so a lot of what we're doing, and the reality is 100,000 sales isn't that hard when you put the right strategy in place. It's just thinking about the problem differently. So that's a lot of the conversations that we're having. We'll be launching a podcast and a book, but our biggest hurdle right now is educating people on our unique value prop and this new way of thinking about how you can deliver. And then to your other question, best way to find me, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can find me on Facebook, Mark R. Stern or Mark Stern, or you can go to our website, customboxagency.com, and book a free consultation with a member of our team. We love to learn what people are doing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation, and it's really interesting, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate